I gave you my heart.
Ngayong new normal, new learning mode. Welcome to online mathematics class. My name is Sir Ana, and in this video, we will gonna talk about solving quadratic equation by extracting the square root. Sa video na ito, ay tuturuan ko kayo kung paano tayo magsosolve ng quadratic equation gamit ang extracting the square root. Okay, let's start with the definition of a quadratic equation. A quadratic equation is an equation where the highest degree of exponent is 2. Let's say, for example, I have x squared equals 10. This can be called a quadratic equation because the highest degree of exponent is 2. Another example, if I have x squared plus 5x minus 3 equals 0, that is an example of a quadratic equation because the highest degree of exponent is 2. Let's say, for example, I have x plus 5 equals 0. Is this a quadratic equation? No. Why? Because the highest degree of exponent is 1. So therefore, x plus 5 equals 0 is not a quadratic equation. When we say quadratic equation, the highest degree of exponent is 2. Okay, now, let us emphasize the square root. Okay? When we say square root, it is a number wherein, kapag minultiply mo siya sa sarili, ay yun yung magiging perfect square. Let's say, for example, if I'm going to find the square root of 25, that would be positive or negative 5. Bakit? Kasi positive 5 times positive 5 is positive 25. Negative 5 times negative 5, negative times negative is always a positive. So 25. Meaning, pag sinabi natin square root, ito yung value na kapag minultiply mo sa sarili, the answer would be a perfect square. Okay? Another example. If I'm going to find the square root of 4, that is positive or negative 2. Why? Because 2 times 2 is equal to 4. And then, negative 2 times negative 2 is also equal to 4. And therefore, the square root of 4 is positive or negative 2 kasi kapag i-multiply mo sa sarili, itong value na to, the answer would be 4. Wherein ang 4 ay isang perfect square. Another one, the square root of 100. If I'm going to find the square root of a 100, that would be positive or negative 10. Wherein 10 times 10 is equal to 100. And negative 10 times negative 10 is also equal to 100. Therefore, the square root of 100 is positive or negative 10. Na kapag minultiply mo siya sa sarili, the answer is 100. Wherein 100 is a perfect square. Another one. How about the square root of x squared? Okay? Kung babalikan natin, ang sabi, ang square root daw, okay, ang square root ng isang value ay dalawang number na kapag pinag-multiply mo, ito din yung sagot. So, dito makikita ko na yung x squared, alam ko na ang square root niya ay x. O positive or negative x. Bakit? Kasi x times x is x squared. And then, negative x times negative x is equal to x squared. So therefore, the square root of x squared is positive or negative x. So since it is a variable, wala naman tayong numerical o wala tayong number or constant, so hindi na siya positive or negative x. Kapag variable, it is understood na ang square root ng x square would be x only. Hindi na siya negative x. So ganun siya. Okay, so ayan. So the square root of x squared is equal to x because x times x is x squared. How about the square root of x to the sixth? That would be x to the third. Bakit x to the third? Because x to the third times x to the third is equal to x to the sixth. According to the law of exponent, when we are multiplying a monomial having the same base, the exponents will be added. Okay? Pinag-a-add lang siya. How about the square root of 4x to the fourth? If I'm going to find the square root of 4x to the fourth, that would be 2x squared. Bakit 2x squared? Because 2x squared times 2x squared is equal to 4x to the fourth. Bakit naging 4x to the fourth? 2 times 2 would be 4. And then x squared times x squared is x to the fourth. Same base. Ang ginagawa sa exponent ay pinag-a-add. So that would be 4x to the fourth. And therefore, the square root of 4x to the fourth is 2x squared. Let us apply the concept of extracting the square root in finding the solution of a quadratic equation. Again, when we say quadratic equation, in equation we have the highest degree of exponent, which is 2. As you can see to these examples, these are quadratic equation because the highest degree of exponent is 2. Let's take a look at this number 1. We have x squared is equal to 36. Okay, how to find the solution of x squared minus 36? When we say find the solution, okay, when we say find the solution, we are going to find the exact value of a given variable. Hinahanap natin kung ano ba ang value ni x to get 36. Okay? Now, okay, let us have the concept of extracting the square root. As you can see, an x squared is a perfect square. We can say that it is a perfect square because the exponent is 2. And if it has exponent with 2, we can find its square root. Therefore, the square root of x squared, and then we have the square root of 36. Okay? Pag may ginawa kang action sa left side, kailangan gagawin ka ng action sa right side para balance pa din ang inyong equation. Okay, how to find the square root of x squared? A while ago, we know that the square root of x squared will be x. Okay? And a while ago, the square root of 36 is positive or negative 6. Why positive or negative 6? Because 6 times 6 is equal to 36. And then negative 6 times negative 6 is equal to 36 also. And therefore, the values of x are, we have x sub 1 equals positive 6 and x sub 2 equals negative 6. Okay. Clear na tayo dito? Let's go with number 2. In number 2, we have 4y squared is equal to 25. Okay? The process is, the first step that we need to do is to extract the square root of the left side and the square root of the right side. So, in finding the square root of the left side, we have the square root of 4y squared equals the square root of 25. Kung ano man ang ginawa sa iyong kapatid, ay siya rin gagawin mo sa akin. Okay? So, In finding the square root of 4y squared, we need to get the square root of 4 first. The square root of 4 is 2. Because 4 is a perfect square, 2 times 2 is 4. Now, the square root of y squared is y. Because y squared is a perfect square, and the square root of y squared is y. That will be equal to, okay, square root of 25. A constant 25, the square root is positive or negative 5. Okay, now, since meron pang kasama si y, kailangan siyang mawala doon. Para mawala si 2 dun sa tabi ni y, we are going to divide both sides by 2. Okay? And dividing both sides by 2, it will give us y is equal to positive or negative 5 over 2. Okay? And this will give us y sub 1 is equal to 5 over 2, and y sub 2 is equal to negative 5 over 2. Okay, are we clear with this? Let's now move on to example number 3. In example number 3, we have x plus 3 squared is equal to 49. A binomial is raised to 2. Okay? Huwag matatakot sa ganitong klase na given because ang step na gagawin lang natin is katulad ng step na ginawa natin sa number 1 at sa number 2. The first step that we need to do is to extract the square root of both sides of the equation. So extracting the square root, we have the square root of the quantity of x plus 3 raised to the second or square equals to the square root of 49. Okay? So tatandaan nyo na lagi kapag naka-parenthesis siya, isang quantity lang siya. Okay? Kapag naka-parenthesis siya, isang quantity na naka-raise sa 2. Okay, isipin mo, isang variable lang si x plus 3. Tulad nito, square root ng x squared, that would be x. And therefore, I can say that the square root of x plus 3 raised to 2 would be x plus 3. Okay? Kung mapapansin nyo dito sa number 1, x squared. Ang square niya, x na lang. Kung ano yung quantity na to, yun lang din ang nandoon. In here naman, kung anong quantity na nakalagay sa loob ng square root, yun lang din ang kanyang sagot. That will be equal to the square root of 49 is positive or negative 7. Okay? Bakit positive or negative 7? Because 7 times 7 is 49. Negative 7 times negative 7 is also 49. Now, we are going to find only the value of x. So, gagamitin natin yung additive inverse, mawawala si positive dito, mapupunta sa right side. Additive inverse ang tawag doon. Kapag naglipat na tayo ng number sa right side, additive inverse ang tawag sa kanya. So that will be x is equal to, dahil positive siya dito, pag nilipat ko sa right side, magiging negative 3. We have negative 3 plus or minus 7. Okay, now, in finding the values for x, we're going to separate the operation. We have plus and we have minus. So we have x sub 1 is equal to negative 3 plus 7. Okay, rule of integer. Negative 3 plus 7, that would be positive 4. So x sub 1 is positive 4. How about x sub 2? In finding x sub 2, we are going to subtract naman. Negative 3 minus 7. This will give us negative 10. Okay? So ganyan lang kumuha ng solution ng quadratic equation gamit ang extracting the square root. And now that we know on how to solve quadratic equation by extracting the square root, let's apply it in a given problem. we have a sample problem. A square parking lot behind the SM City has an area of 144 square meters. How long is the side of the square parking lot? In this kind of problem, it is easy to illustrate the parking lot. In illustrating the parking lot, it is said that the shape of the parking lot is a square. So now we are going to draw a square. Okay, assume that this square is a parking lot at SM City. Okay, it is said that the area of the parking lot is 144 square meters. It is said that the area is 144 square meters. Okay, now let's go back to the formula of an area of a square. We all know that the area of the square is denoted by A is equal to S squared, where S is the side and A is the area. Okay? Ito yung formula sa pagkuha ng area ng isang square. Okay, now we have the value of an area which is 144 square meters. Okay, all we need to do here is substitute the value of the area given that we have the formula. Okay, the area is 144 square meters. That will be equal to S squared. Ano bang nawawala? The side. So, hahanapin natin yung value ng S. Okay? Value ng S. Okay. Gamit ang extracting the square root o yung process ng pagkuha ng value ng isang variable, extracting the square root, yung step na ginawa natin na first step is to extract the square root of both sides of the equation. We know that the square root of 144 is 12, and the square root of m raised to 2 is m. Okay? That is equal to the square root of s squared. Natatanggal lang yung square. Pagka in-square siya, that will be our s. And now, the value of our s is 12 meters. And therefore, I can say that, sa conclusion natin, I can say that, therefore, the side of the square parking lot is 12 meters long. Okay, so that's it. Thank you for listening. In this video, we learned about solving quadratic equations by extracting the square root. So I hope you learned something from me. And thank you for watching. For more videos, kindly like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel.